Hello and welcome to the 36th video on the PHP e-commerce series. My name is Curtis and this is Free Skills. Well, in this video we're going to go ahead and put a widget in our left sidebar that's going to allow us to search by price, to sort by price from lowest to highest or highest to lowest. We can also put a minimum and a maximum price in, and then it will also allow us to search by brand. And so you guys can expound upon this if you want other options, but this is just what I'm going to do for time's sake and kind of show you how it works. So first thing we're going to do is jump in our code and we're going to go ahead and pull up our left bar, and the left bar was in our includes, so we go ahead and pull up includes and left bar.php, and right now you can see we just have the text left sidebar in there. So what we're going to do is delete that and skip down a few lines here. And we're just going to do a simple PHP include here. So I'll open up my PHP tags and we'll just say include. And what we're going to include is widgets / filters.php. Now we haven't actually created this file yet, but we're going to do that next. Whoops. So now that we've done that, inside of our widgets folder here, we've created the cart.php and the recent.php for the last video for the right sidebar. In that same folder, we're going to go ahead and create a new file, and we'll call this we'll call it filters.php. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is inside of filters.php, we are going to just start building up our form that we're going to need. So what we're going to do is first let's do our h3. And we'll give that a class of text center. Okay. And we'll close our h3 tag. And then what we're going to do is inside of our h3 tag, we're going to say search by, and I'm just going to put a colon there. You can do whatever you want. If you don't like that, well, do something different. h4. Now the h4, we'll just give it a class also of text center. Okay, and in the h4 we're just going to we'll do price first. Okay, and so after that we're just going to go ahead and open up some form tags, and we'll give it an action of search.php, which we haven't created yet, and a method of post. Go ahead and close our form tag. Alright, so let's get started with our inputs. Let's give myself a little room here. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to give this a input. Oops. We'll give it an input type radio. Okay, and we'll do name, and we'll put this price _ sort. Alright, and we're going to do a value equal to 0. Now the reason that we're doing this is we want to pass something. So actually, you know what? We'll come back to that. We are going to do that, and I'll show you why. I think it'll be easier to explain once we have the issue. So we'll do value of low, and then what we're going to do here is echo out some PHP, and we're going to say we'll do a ternary operator. Okay. And inside our ternary operator, we're going to check if price sort is equal to low, then what are we going to do? Well, then we're going to echo a space and checked, and if it's not, then we're just going to echo a blank string. Okay, so we can actually do it at the end of this line. We need a break, so I'm going to go ahead and actually oops, before the break, let's just put out low to high, and then I'm going to copy this whole line here. So Control C. Alright, and then we'll leave the name as price sort, except for now we'll put that value of high. And we'll change right here on our check, we'll put that as high as well. And then we will put high to low there. And yep, we're just going to leave our break there. And the next thing, let's go ahead and take a look at this before we get carried away. Up here at the top, let's go ahead and open our PHP tags. We'll go down a few lines and close our PHP tags. And I need to add that variable of price sort. Okay, and we're going to set that equal to a ternary operator as well. And we're going to check, we'll do an is set, and we're going to use request, and we're going to request price sort. And the reason we're using request is $_request instead of post or get is that we want to be able to use get or posted values for this. That's the reason you would use request. Now, older versions of PHP may not support this, but you should be good if you have any modern type of browser. So if is set price sort, then what do we want to do? Well, then we want to sanitize our request price sort. So we're sanitizing any kind of user data, and we'll set that equal to a blank string if it's not posted or there's not a get variable. So let's save that now and refresh our page here. And we got a syntax error. Unexpected less than sign on line 4, saying on the left bar. Oh, so after this include, I didn't close my PHP tags on the left bar there. So refresh the page now, and now you can see that we have this search by price, and then we have low to high and high to low that we can choose from. Okay, great. The next thing that I want to do is I want to have the ability to actually type a minimum and maximum price into that. So let's jump back to the code here, and let's go ahead and add a few more inputs in our filters here. So right here we'll do an input. I'm going to do type this time equal to text. Alright, and then we'll do a name equal to min price. We'll do class price range. Now, we haven't done anything with that yet, and I'm going to put a placeholder here, and we'll say min, and we'll just put a $sign. The next thing that I want to do is put a value, and inside of the value here, I'm just going to echo. Whoops. I'm going to echo min price. Okay, so now we need to, we'll just copy this line here. We'll go down one line. Alright, and for this one we're just going to change min to max, and we'll change this here to max as well, and we'll change this to max. So that's our that. Now the one thing I want to do here is after the first minimum, I'm just going to put 2, and then on the next deal I'm going to put 2 break tags. Alright, separate it out a little bit, and that's not going to look great yet, but we'll take care of that. The other thing we need to do is add those variables up here. So what I'm going to do is say min price, and we'll do the same thing here. We're just going to say we'll do a ternary operator, so So what we're going to do is set $_request, and we'll say min price. So if that is set, then we will go ahead and sanitize our $_request min price. Okay, and then if it's not, then we will just set it to a blank string. So I'm going to copy this line and paste it here, and let's just go ahead and change all those instances to max, and there we go. Let's go ahead and refresh our page now. Okay, so these are full width here, not looking the greatest. So let's go ahead and take care of that real quick. And oh, excuse me. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to go ahead and open up our CSS and our main CSS, and just down here at the bottom of our CSS file, we'll go ahead and add that. We'll add an input with a class of price range. Okay. What do we want to do? Well, we're just going to set the width to 55 pixels. Okay. Refresh the page here, and there we go. So we got the min and the max now. Go ahead and do one more break right there, just to give a little bit of breather. Let's see. Okay. That's okay. Really, you could take care of that with some CSS, or I just throw in a break tag. I'm being lazy. Semantically, probably better to use CSS to separate that stuff out, but alright, so the next thing that I want to do in my form is I want to have the ability to search by not only price and be able to select price, but I want to search by brand. So we're going to go here, and underneath this input we're going to put an H4, and we'll go ahead and give that a class text center. Okay. And now I'm just going to put brand. Alright. Then what we're going to do is here we're going to add an input, and this input we're going to give a type, a radio, and we'll give it a name, brand, and then what we're going to do is we're going to give it a value, oops, of an empty string. This is going to be just a blank value, meaning it will post an empty string. And then what we're going to do here is, let me just close that, and then I'm going to echo out a ternary operator, and we're going to do a check here. We're going to say, okay, if B, which we haven't created yet, is equal to a blank string, okay, if that's the case, then what we're going to do is we are going to echo out checked, and if it isn't, we're just going to echo out a blank string. That way it'll give it the checked attribute if this B comes back as a blank string. So what is B? Well, what we need to do is go ahead and create that, and what we're going to say, and we're just shorten this to B. So B is equal to a ternary operator, okay, and what we're going to check here is the same thing we've been checking. We're going to check is set $_request brand, which is the name of our input here. So we're checking if that's set. If it's set, then what we want to do is we're going to set that equal to sanitize $_request, brand. Alright. If it's not set, then we're just going to set that equal to a blank string. Alright. So the other thing we need to do is we want to be able to loop through all the brands in our database and put out an input. And so what I want to do is I'm going to create a brand queue query here, and I'm going to set that equal to db query, and then we're going to say select all from brand. Okay, and then we're just going to order that. We're going to say order by brand. Alright, so now that we have this brand queue here, we're ready to jump down here below this input, and we're going to open up some PHP tags here, and we're going to say we're going to do a while loop, and we'll skip down a few lines and we'll do our end while. Alright, so right here in a while loop, we're going to say while brand is equal to MySQL I fetch associative array, and then we're going to pass in that brand queue. Alright, so while that, then we're going to echo out an input for each one of those. Now the input is going to have a type equal to radio, and a name equal to brand. Alright, and then a value, we'll set that value in just a moment. Okay, so it's going to get a little bit confusing, so let's just go through it one step at a time. In the value, what we want to do each time is we're going to echo out brand, which is this here that gets set in the loop. So that's an associative array. So for the index on that, we just need to, we're going to actually echo out the ID. So the value is going to be equal to the ID of that brand. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. And then what we need to do is we need to we need to give it the checked attribute if it's set, and if B is set to that. So what that looks like is another, well, first of all, let me just clean this up. Inside of our value here, we need to close our PHP tags, and then right here we're going to echo out again a ternary operator, and I'll close my PHP tag so I don't forget. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to say right here in our check, we're going to say if B, okay, which is this variable that we set here, if that's set, so if that is equal to our brand ID, then what we're going to do? Well, we're going to print a space and then checked. Otherwise, we're going to just print an empty string, or echo an empty string. So essentially what's happening here is if this value is equal to B, it's going to check that radio input. The next thing we do is need to add our label. So right here, we're going to echo out PHP again, and we're going to echo this time our brand array, and we're just going to put brand here, which is going to be the name of our brand. So we'll close PHP. Alright, so let me save that and just refresh the page now. And you can see I have all of my brands, but I need a break tag. So after the first input right here, I need to go ahead and add a BR tag. And what we're going to do here is before that BR, we're going to say all. So we're going to sort by all, so that makes sense. And then here, we're just going to put our BR tag there. Alright, so now if I refresh, I get a nice list of my, and since we brands, and since we gave them all the same name, it is just going through and selecting those. Okay, so the last thing I want to do here is I want to have the ability to search. So we're just going to put a submit button there. So right here after our while loop, we just need to add another input, and this is going to have a type of submit and a value of search, and we'll give this a class of button extra small, and then button primary. Alright, save that and refresh, and boom, there we go. So now we have this built out here for our search functions here, and so now we need to make this work. Now we could go through our page that we're on, and we could make all of this work on this page, but I thought it'd be easier to go ahead and create a new page to display search fields on. And so there's a few things that are confusing, but it's going to be relatively quick and easy to create. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create in the root directory of my project a new file, and we'll call that new file search.php. Alright, and then what we want to do is go ahead and open up our category.php, which is going to be really similar to our search page, and we're just going to copy everything in there. So Control C, and then go to search PHP and paste it right in there. And we will go ahead and close our category PHP. We won't need that anymore. Alright, so essentially right now this is exactly the same as our category view, which is, you know, when we click on one of these we go to the category.php, which is what we want, except for when we click on search we want it to take us to the search page. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. There's a few things that we're going to have to change here, but it's not going to be much. It's just going to look kind of like a lot, because what we got to do is we got to grab all of those posted values that get posted to this page, and we need to basically change this SQL here in order to get our products that are going to be printed on the page. But we're missing something. The first thing that we're missing is back on filters.php. We need to pass a few more things in. The first thing we need to do is right here at the very top, we need to know if we're already in a category, because if we filter something, we search something, and we're inside of a category, we want to stay in that category. So what we're going to do is say cat ID for category ID, and we'll do a ternary operator here. So we're going to check something. Well, we're going to check if is set $_request. Okay, so if cat is set, then what we're going to do is we're going to again sanitize, and we're going to sanitize the $_request cat, and if not, it's just going to be equal blank string. So what we're going to do is in the top of our form we need to pass along that value. So we're going to do an input with a type equal to hidden and a name equal to cat and a value equal to well, we need to use PHP and echo out our cat ID, which is this right here that we just created. So then we'll close that input, and the other thing that we need to do, let's just do it while we're here, is add one more hidden input, and we'll give this a name of price sort, and we're going to give it a value equal to 0. Okay, so why are we doing that? Well, if they don't check high or low in the price sort, then we want to have 0 pass through. Okay, so if they don't check that, we want to have 0. So for right now, you can see that I haven't checked either one of those. We need to tell it that neither one of those are checked when we hit the search button, and that's why we're passing an empty input right there called price sort. It's called the same thing, so it can be set to 0. Okay. Now that we're done with that, that's pretty much this whole file is done, but I'll leave that open. And then in the search .php file, let's go ahead and we're going to just get rid of everything from the SQL up to this if statement. Okay, and the reason is it's be easier to start over. So let's start with our SQL. Now the SQL, we're just going to start by saying select all. So select all from products, and I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to add our conditions like the where and our order by based upon our posted values. So what we're going to do now is we'll do an if statement really quick after this. We're going to do an if and else, and we're going to say if cat. Oops. Well, we need to we need to grab cat ID. So cat ID is going to be equal to a ternary operator again. Okay. And let's see. So we're going to say if $_post cat $_post is not equal to a blank string, okay, then we're going to do something. Well, if it's not equal to a blank string, then we're going to sanitize the $_post of cat, and we're going to set that equal to cat ID. Okay, if not, we're going to set it equal to a blank string. So then we can do a check here. We can say if cat ID equals a blank string, then we're going to concatenate onto our SQL. So this is very important. We don't want to use an equals here. We're going to use a period equals to concatenate onto it, and we're going to concatenate on a space and then where deleted equals 0, because we only want to have we don't want to have any deleted products shown. Okay. And I got this syntax a little screwy here. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say else. So if the cat ID is not a blank string, then we're going to concatenate onto SQL a blank string, and we're going to say where categories is equal to, and this should be, sorry, that should be a double quote, not a single quote. Same thing here. So where categories is equal to, and then we're going to pass in our cat ID, okay, and then a space, and we'll say and deleted equals 0. So you see what's happening here is if cat ID is blank, then we're just going to add to our SQL statement and say select all from products where deleted equals 0. If we have something posted in our category ID, we're going to say select all from products where categories is equal to our category ID and deleted equals 0. Okay, so that's how we're building up our SQL. Alright, so we can continue on like that. So let's go ahead and do our price sort, and that will be a ternary operator, and we could say if $_post price sort if that does not equal a blank string, then we're going to say sanitize $_post price sort, and if it does, then we're just going if it equals a blank string, we'll set that to a blank string. Now what we can do is just copy that, alright, and copy that, and I'm just going to paste that 3 times. Oops. Okay, and so I'm going to change this to min price, and then I'll change this one to max price, and then this one here is going, oops, this one here will be brand. Alright, so then we just continue to do if statements here and continue to build up our SQL. So what we're going to do is check our min price. So we say if min price does not equal a blank string. Okay, if it does not equal a blank string, then what we're going to do is concatenate onto our SQL again, and we will say space and price is greater than or equal to our min price. Okay, so then we can go ahead and close that line, and actually we can just copy this whole if statement because the max price is identical, except for we're just going to change a few things. We're just going to change this to a less than or equal to the max price. Okay, so essentially what's going to happen is select all from products where deleted equals 0 and price is greater than or equal to the min price, and max price and price is less than or equal to max price. So we're just continuing to build up this SQL statement based upon our search queries. Alright, so then what we're going to do is we're going to say if, this time we'll do brand. If brand is not equal to a blank string, man, keep screwing that up. Sorry guys. So if brand is not equal to a blank string, then we'll concatenate onto our SQL, and we're going to say and a space and then and brand is equal to brand. Okay. Alright, so we only have 2 things left to check, and that is our price sort, and I saved those for last on purpose, not because they're harder, but because we're not adding to our where clause or our conditions. We're actually just going to use sorting. So we can say if price sort is equal to low. Okay, so if price sort is equal to low, we're going to concatenate onto our SQL, and what we're going to do is say space order by, and then we'll say price. Okay, so by default that's just going to price lowest to highest, but it's going to order by that field. Okay, so then what we can do is we can say if price sort is equal to high, then we're going to say SQL, and we'll concatenate on order by price again, but now we need to say descending. So it's going to go from highest to lowest. Now, by the end of these checks and all of this, our SQL is built up where we want it. So then this SQL gets run through this product query, and we can actually get rid of this line. We'll just leave that line actually, because we're going to use it here in this H2. We're still going to use that. But what we're going to do is, we don't essentially want the page to look like it changes. So if we are sorting by category, we still want to say, you know, like women's shirts or whatever. But if we're not using a category, we still want to say something. So let's go ahead here, and above that, let's go ahead and open up our PHP tags, and we'll do an if statement. Okay. And after that H2, I'm going to go ahead and close that. Well, let's do an else. Let's skip down a few more lines, and then we will end if. Okay? And the reason we're going to do that is right here, we're going to say H2 class, oops, text center. I'm going to close our H2 tag, and then we're just going to say, I think we should just, we'll just say, we'll just put Shanta's Boutique. Whatever you want to put there, that's fine, I don't care. But we need to add our check now. So what we need to check for is in our if statement, we're checking if cat ID, if that is not equal to a blank string, because if it's not, then we have a category and we want to print out that category in our H2. If it is a blank string, then we're just going to say Shanta's Boutique, so it has a fallback. So let's test this. We'll go back to we're on the index page, and you can see I have some products here. And in my products, I can sort these high to low. So let's go ahead and hit search, and we got a problem. Unexpected else on line 43. Yep, and that's because right here in this PHP if, I have a semicolon rather than a colon. Alright, so we'll just back here. So now if I do high to low and hit search, it starts with my highest priced items and goes ahead and goes down to the lowest price item. If I search now, oops, you can see too that my Shanta's Boutique is not centered, so let's look at that. And that's because I have text equals center instead of text center. Sorry about that, typo. Refresh, continue. Alright, so that looks better. Let's try low to high. Okay, so we started at the lowest price and it works its way up to the highest price item. Let's see, let's do everything, let's cut off these two. Let's try our min price and let's set that at $15. And let's set our max price at $60. So we're going to cut off the first two products, and we should cut off the last two products as well. So I just hit search now. You can see that everything is between $15 and $60, and it's not showing anything other than that. So that looks to be working. What if I just do my maximum? So everything below 60 and it's still sorting. That's cool. What about let's try to go ahead and start looking at brands. So I'm gonna pick how about this and hit search. So let's really quickly see what our problem is. Let's go ahead and echo out brand right here. We're gonna say echo brand, and then what we want to do is just die. We're going to kill the page. This is just like a little debugging tool to try to figure out what our brand is actually printing out. So I'm gonna hit back, hit here, so it's 14. So let's look at our database. 14, yep, that's what that should be. So that is correct. So brand here is equal to 14. Alright, so if we go down here and we say if brand is not equal to a blank string, so it's equal to 14, we're going to say and brand. So I have these quotes here inside of that. That should be on the outside. I think that's going to fix it now. So if I just refresh, there we go. So now, yeah, so now we can go through and search all of our products by brand. Now here's the thing though, we also need to check to see, let's go to women's accessories. Now women's accessories, if I just click on Calvin Klein, it still stays in women's accessories, but no products show up because I don't have any accessories that are also Calvin Klein. But I do have this Vince Camuto, so then it shows up. Let's go ahead and go to women's shoes, and I just don't have enough products here, but inside of women's shoes, let's see what these actually are. We got Vince Camuto and we got Charter Club. So if I do anything other than Charter Club, we get those, and if I do Vince Camuto, we get those, and we're still within our women's shoes. So everything seems to be working as expected. We can then go ahead and search by all, and now we're still within women's shoes. And if I go back to home now and I just search by Vince Camuto, it shows me not only the shoes, because we are just in the products page and we're looking at all brands by that. Okay, so anyways, a little bit longer than I expected, but anyhow, I hope this search kind of gives you an idea into how we go about setting these prices and filtering our products out. Anyways, if you've enjoyed this, please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful evening.